Hello and welcome to another complete Cambridge IGCSE PE lesson, the final topic in Chapter 7, warming up and cooling down. As always, you'll cover absolutely everything you need to know for your exam, and today you need to be able to understand the physiological and psychological reasons for warming up and cooling down, to explain the phases required in a warm-up and a cool-down, and to understand that a warm-up and a cool-down should be specific to the activity that you're preparing for. We'll start today's lesson by looking at the structure of a warm-up, paying particular attention to the three phases that should be included. Phase 1, pulse raiser. When preparing for exercise, it's essential to begin with a pulse raiser, the main function of which is to increase your heart rate. An effective pulse raiser involves performing whole body activities such as running, cycling or swimming for several minutes. The method chosen should be specific to the activity you're preparing for, explaining why you won't see cyclists warming up in a swimming pool. Phase 2, dynamic stretching. Dynamic stretches are stretches that involve movement and are used to increase the flexibility and elasticity of your muscle fibers. The stretches chosen should mirror or replicate the movements used in the activity that we're warming up for. For example, lunges, high knees and heel flicks all focus on lower body muscle groups and may therefore be used by runners. A swimmer or javelin thrower, on the other hand, may include shoulder rotations or crossovers to improve upper body mobility. Phase 3, skill familiarization. Now that you've raised your pulse and stretched your muscles, the last step is to familiarize yourself with the skills that you'll be using during competition. Failing to do so could lead to more mistakes being made at the start of a game, which is why tennis players take to the court to practice their ground strokes, serving and volleying for several minutes before their match begins. So what are the physiological and psychological benefits that can be gained through a warm-up? The increase in heart rate and breathing rate that result from the pulse raiser allow us to take up and transport more oxygen to the working muscles, leading to an increase in energy production. This allows us to exercise at higher intensities right from the start. When we warm up, our body temperature also increases, which helps our muscles to become more supple and reduces the chances of picking up an injury. Dynamic stretching increases the flexibility of our muscles, tendons and ligaments, which in turn helps us to avoid sprains and strains. It also gets the joints moving, which helps us to achieve a greater range of movement. Psychological benefits. An effective warm-up will increase your level of arousal and bring you to a state of match readiness. It can also help you prepare mentally for the demands of competition and focuses your mind on the skills and techniques that you're about to perform. We'll now move on to cool-downs, beginning with the three phases that you should apply after a bout of strenuous activity. Phase 1, 5 to 10 minutes of light activity such as jogging or walking, or a gentle swim. Again, the method used should be specific to the movements used during performance, hence why cyclists will cool down on a bike as opposed to on foot. This phase helps to gradually reduce body temperature and speeds up the removal of waste products. Phase 2, static stretching. Static stretches involve holding a stationary position for 15 to 20 seconds and in the context of a cool down helps the muscles to relax and re-establish their normal range of movement. Phase 3, breathing exercises such as deep breathing. This not only helps to oxygenate the blood and speed up the removal of waste products, but also gives you time to calm down and transition back into daily life. So what are the physiological and psychological benefits that can be gained through a cool down? The 5 to 10 minutes of light activity helps heart rate and breathing rate return to resting levels gradually. This helps us to maintain oxygen delivery to the working muscles so that lactic acid can be broken down and oxygen debt paid back more quickly. Static stretches help to remove muscle stiffness and soreness later, prevent immediate cramps from occurring, speed up the removal of lactic acid from the muscles themselves, and reduce the risk of sustaining a muscle or tendon injury during your next bout of exercise. Psychological benefits. The time spent cooling down provides athletes with an opportunity to reflect on their performance and identify areas for future improvement. It also helps to calm the body and mind, speeding up the transition back into daily life. Now you've just covered absolutely everything you need to know on topic 7.3, warming up and cooling down. Use the knowledge checklist to make sure you understand everything you need to, and come back next time for the first topic in Chapter 8 on skill and ability. As always, I hope you found this lesson useful, and I'll see you in the next one.